Welcome to Cassandra, Words and Music. My name is Morjana Celeste Varicchio, the producing artistic director and founder of the award-winning Mosaic Dance Theater Company. Mosaic is dedicated to the dance and folklore of the Mediterranean region, the dances and music, the stories and myths, and the histories and legends of this fascinating area of the world form the wellspring of inspiration for the company's creative vision. In this new 8-episode series, Cassandra Words and Music explores some of the words and music and the whys and wherefores of them in Mosaic's production of Cassandra, an ongoing tragedy. You'll meet two award-winning artists, playwright Ruth Cantrell and composer Michael V. Ficocelli. Ruth Cantrell has had her works produced throughout the US, Canada, the UK, Germany, and Australia. Ruth is a member of the Dramatist Guild. Her Theater for Youth scripts are published by Youth Plays. Michael V. Ficocelli has studied the different forms of international music and incorporates those sounds into his exciting score for Cassandra. His awards include Lehman Engel Award for Musical Theater, ASCAP Awards Prize. His work From Death to Hope, commemorating victims of the Holocaust, was performed at Auschwitz, Poland, and Dachau, Germany. So much happens before a theatrical work reaches the stage, and we are excited to share with you just how some of it happens. Thanks for tuning in, and now let's talk about Cassandra. Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Cassandra Words and Music. We begin with the words, where it all began. Playwright Ruth Cantrell joins me to share how some of the elements of her play, Cassandra, an Ongoing Tragedy, came about. Scene 1 brings us into war, the Trojan War, the Vietnam War, and the War of Terrorism in Pakistan. Ruth, how do the characters of Hecuba, Queen of Troy, Kim, a girl from Milai, and Maryam, a girl from Lahore, deal with the collateral damage of war and the death of a loved one?
Although the characters are of different ages and cultures, they understand the cost of waging war may be a soldier's life, but they will not accept innocent civilians of any age paying the same price. And though this sounds like an oxymoron, there are rules to war, and these scenes depict rules being broken and the consequences thereof. Troy and Greece are at war, and Troy is defeated. An armed Greek soldier informs Hecuba that her young grandson lies dead among the rocks where he was tossed. She cannot fathom that such orders of butchery would be followed, but the soldier tells her to control her outbursts, and he will see if he can retrieve the boy's body, because he's not sure that that was even an option. Hecuba has no choice but to sit and wait quietly. In My Lai, Vietnam, when soldiers from Charlie Company wrongly accuse the villagers of hiding Viet Cong enemy, chaos ensues. Young Kim and her sister fled to a familiar rice pad as the unrelenting barrage of bullets flies overhead. They quietly believed they would be protected by the 4 sacred creatures their late mother had told them to trust. When the bullets stop, Kim stands up, but sister does not. Kim no longer has trust in the 4 sacred creatures. On Easter Sunday, in a park in Lahore, Pakistan, Maryam and her family are on a picnic. It's the first outing since her parents were killed. There are Muslims and Christians in the park. There are children laughing. Life is good. Then, in an instant, things change. Hidden in a parking lot, a man in charge of his own self-declared war willingly blows up himself and others to prove his importance. Maryam was angry and horrified, not only by the destruction and death she saw, but also that the children, including her own younger sister, Alicia, were the victims of this stranger's self-declared war that used a playground as a war zone. These three characters are connected from their experiences, and they can ask the audience, the children. No one kept them safe.
Thank you, Ruth. In spite of these enormous tragedies, each of these three women has found an inner strength. Stay with us as we learn about the music from Mosaic's production of Cassandra, an ongoing tragedy. Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Cassandra, Words and Music. Composer Michael Ficocelli joins me to give us some insider information on the music he created for Mosaic's production of Cassandra, an ongoing tragedy. After opening with the aftermath of the Trojan War, Scene 1 takes us into more recent times, the My Lai massacre in Vietnam, and a suicide bombing at a park in Pakistan. Mike, what were some of the musical choices you used to create Kim's theme, Vietnam, and Maryam's theme, Pakistan?
In creating the musical setting for My Lai Vietnam, I chose instruments that you would hear in Vietnamese music. The Nhiat Trang is an instrument that is used in Vietnam, and its origins are from the city of Nhiat Trang in Vietnam. The shakuhachi, a bamboo flute, though its origins are from Japan, is also heard in Vietnamese music. Bian Chang, with Chinese origins, is a set of stone chimes used in Vietnamese music. And Dan Chang, a pluck zither-like instrument similar to the Japanese koto. And that theme that you just heard depicts the happiness that Kim and her sister are feeling at the My Lai market before the massacre that is to occur. And we hear the approach of Charlie Company in the snare drum, and here it is now. And this is followed by gunfire. I did a deep dive into some American music and discovered a piece that I wasn't aware of that was written actually at Bunker Hill, and it's called The American Hero. And for such a noble cause, of course. But I thought that by placing it in this context, it would point up the hypocrisy of what was happening with the American soldiers and the people of My Lai. And so it's being played on the tin whistle, and it sounds like this. Now listen again when the two cultures collide. You're going to hear the American Hero played on the tin whistle against Kim's theme played on traditional Vietnamese instruments. And it seems to point up the poignancy of what is happening here. There's a dissonance between these two cultures as they clash. after the massacre, Kim discovers that her sister is dead. And that Melee Market theme now becomes Kim's pathos theme by me changing tempos and playing it with enhanced strings to bring out the sadness of what has occurred. In creating the music for Lahore, Pakistan, on that fated day, March 27th, 2016, at Gulshan-e-Iqbal Park, I once again turned to instruments that you would hear in Pakistani music, such as the harmonium, very popular in Pakistan, is a keyboard instrument based on metal reeds, and it's used many times for drone effects. The dholki, a very popular small two-headed hand drum. The tabla, a popular percussion instrument. The sas, a lute-like instrument used in Pakistani music. The shena, a traditional double reed wind instrument. The ghatam, an earthen clay pot heard in a lot of folk music. And finally the sitar, a long-necked folk lute. When combined, they made this beautiful tapestry of sound that I loved experimenting with. So once again, I molded Maryam's theme based on the original leitmotif. So for those of you with discerning ears, you might be able to pick it up, play it on the sitar, and let's listen to that beautiful combination of sounds as they all come together. Notice how the combination of the sounds creates a very happy, carnival-like mood, which is what's happening here in the park at that time, right before that fateful detonation of that bomb that changed the history of many people.
Thank you, Mike. So many different sounds capture these different locations and the emotions of these different characters. Join us again soon as we present episode 3 of Cassandra, Words and Music.